Could this be the best Blend Buddy palette that they have released? Could this be the best palette of 2025? Let's get into this video and talk about the new Beauty Below eyeshadow palette from Blend Buddy Cosmetics. Everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. If you're new here, my name is Staci. I feature unfiltered makeup opinions. I do honest reviews, OG old school tutorials, and today we're talking about the Beauty Below palette from Blend Buddy Cosmetics. This new one right here, it was just released and it is themed after a siren, which I was super excited about because I'm a huge fan of like mermaid mythology, siren mythology, and this literally just like called to me on every single level. So let's hear more about the palette. Plunge into the depths with Beauty Below, the 24 shade eye and face palette featuring 12 rich velvety mattes and 12 shimmery shades that sparkle like moonlight on dark waters. This magnetic palette draws inspiration from the dark side of mermaids and sirens that call from the depths, luring you into a world of mystery and enchantment. Deep, dark, and moody hues embody the allure of danger and danger of the sea, beckoning you to embrace the shadows beneath the tides. Will you answer their call? So we have the Beauty Below palette. It retails for $45 USD. It is 24 shades. You get 12 mattes, 12 shimmers, and then you also get a full-size mirror in here. And the shades are magnetic, which means that you can actually pull them out and you can rearrange the palette if you want to. This is honestly like a super grungy color story, a lot of deep dark tones in here, and honestly I love the way that this is laid out because as soon as I saw it, I was like, you could actually, if you really think about it, you could take this spore right here, make an eyeshadow look. Take this spore right here, make an eyeshadow look. Take this spore right here, make an eyeshadow look. And literally it is divided like that, so you could create an eyeshadow look out of the quads that are in this palette, which I absolutely love the concept of that. And it makes it easier and more appealing to the eye when you see those color combinations. Now, Blend Buddy has been known for arranging their palettes from like light to dark before. Like I have Sugar and Grunge, and I also have the Allure palette, and those ones are arranged more in like color story going vertically instead of horizontally across or even in the quads. But I kind of like the way that this is laid out. It is, like I said, my graphic design eye was automatically drawn to the quads. Two eyeshadow tutorials for you today. One of them is a purple look and one of them is like a grungy green look. I was channeling like my inner grunge with both of these looks, and I wanted to channel my like inner siren because I am like obsessed with like siren mythology and mermaid mythology, like 100%. So let's jump into those tutorials and then I will give you my final thoughts at the end of this video.
For any eyeshadow look, I always go in with the Sigma Beauty Eye Base Primer in the shade Ignite. The first shade I am dipping into is called Murky Waters. This is like a seafoam green. I have it on a blending brush and I'm just using sweeping motions to slowly build up the color on my eyes and create this nice green seafoam look in the crease. The next shade I'm going to be using is Dark Truth. It is a like green, emerald green shade, and I'm using more of a pointed blending brush and just really focusing this on the outer corner of the eye and building it up slowly. After applying Dark Truth, I did take the blending brush again and just go over all of the color that's on my face and blended it all together just to create a seamless eyeshadow look between the two greens. Next, to really make this eyeshadow look pop, I decided to go into Trance, which this is like a metallic bright green shade. It's absolutely stunning. I wet down my brush and I applied it over the inner portion of the lid. Next, I took the shade Abduction on a smaller blending brush and I applied it just above the crease on the brow bone to create a more seamless look. Then I dipped into Murky Waters and applied this to the lower lash line. I felt the look was missing some dimension, so on the same blending brush, I did use Take Heed on the outer corner just to deepen it up. I felt the inner corner was missing something, so I wet down a pencil brush and used Her Prey on the inner corner just to try and add a little bit more pop and dimension to the inner portion of the eye. Here is my take on a green grungy Siren look with the Beauty Below palette. What do you think? I'm actually really impressed by this look, and I thought it had a lot of dimension and a lot of depth to it, and it looks grungy. Now on to look 2, which is the look that I'm wearing in the video. I use the same Sigma Beauty Eye Base Primer. On a fluffy blending brush, I did use the shade Beckon, and I very lightly tapped into this and did a dusting of the purple color in the crease of my eye. Using the shade Siren Shriek, I did use the same fluffy blending brush. I applied a very light coating of this pink color on the lid of my eye, and you'll see here that it's just a wash of color. It's not anything super pigmented or bright. On a Singe EO6, I used the shade Devour on the outer corner of my eyelid to just deepen up that purple shade, and I slowly built it up on the outer corner. With a more dense crease brush, I did use the shade Tempt to just deepen up the outer corner as well, and you'll see here it's slowly building into a very dark, pigmented purple outer corner. I wet down a Singe Beauty EO7 and went in with Lull and Slay. This is like a lavender grungy color, and I put this all over the lid. You'll notice how metallic it is. It is not a duochrome or a multichrome, it's just a straight up lilac lavender metallic shade. Using the shade Immerse on my pointer finger, I decided to place this on the middle of the lid. This actually has like a purple to blue shift in it, and it's absolutely stunning with these purple colors. For the lower lash line, I once again used the Singe Beauty EO6 with the shade Beckon and put this on the lower lash line. Once again, dipping into the shade Tempt, I wanted to just deepen up the outer corner once more and blend all of those metallic shades into the outer corner, and it was beautiful.
I also wanted to do a little bit of a palette comparison for you guys so you can see like what this looks like compared to the Allure palette, which was their first mermaid type palette that they came out with. This was a couple years ago. Now the Allure palette is in like more of a lighter weight packaging than what the new Beauty Below is. Beauty Below is like super, super hefty and heavy, and it did not come with a mirror at all. You can see the front of the packaging is very like mermaid scales. It's glittery, and inside you have, this is what I'm talking about, where it is color coded for each row, where you can go down each row. And this is really, really like aesthetically appealing to the eye. At least I think it is. But I wanted to show you a comparison between the two, because while the Allure and the Beauty Below palette, they do have some similarities, but they also have some huge differences as well. So you can see here that Beauty Below is very, very grungy, whereas the Allure palette is a little bit more pastel with a little bit of those grunge colors like in this bottom area here. And you can also see that the metallics are very, very like pastelish as well, whereas a lot of the metallics in Beauty Below are not really, like they are kind of pastel-y, but they're more dark and they're more grungy in this eyeshadow palette. So they are similar. If you guys want to see like some swatch comparisons between some other palettes, like I still have to look through my collection, then definitely leave me a comment down below and make sure you're subscribed if I do a video like that. I do. So final thoughts on the Beauty Below palette. I do like the new packaging and I like the magnetic pans. When I received it, nothing was broken. So it was very hefty, very sturdy, great way that it was shipped. Like no problems with that at all. I do have to say, I feel like this palette is missing a little bit of something. Like I know that it's supposed to be a little bit grungy, but I really feel like it's missing something. And I just feel like okay, this is like my favorite shade in the Allure palette. I'm not going to lie, but I feel like there's not that light metallic shade for like the inner corner. There's not that light shade for, like, let's say, I'm actually going to pop this shade on the inner corner. The Allure palette has this shade that I'm popping on the inner corner, and the shade is called Pearl, and it's absolutely stunning. It's like a iridescent multi-chrome. And I really feel like the Beauty Below palette is missing those lighter toned foil shades. This is all medium toned shades to like dark toned shades. And it is missing what I feel like just some of those like lighter shades that are a little bit easier to blend out, super pigmented matte shadows. So honestly, like it is a good companion to the Allure palette because this one is a lot more pastel-y. It's a lot more light in color tone. But that was one thing that I noticed that the palette was missing, was that it didn't have those lighter colors. So like I don't have a shade in the Beauty Below palette to really just like blend it into my brow bone. So I'm actually taking the shade Jellyfish from the Allure palette and just kind of like diffusing this out a little bit more. And I really feel like this in general is something that the Beauty Below palette is missing. I know it's supposed to be grungy. I know it's supposed to be a little bit darker. Like, you know, it's Sirens calling you to like the depths of the ocean. That's like literally what they do, is they lure you in and they draw you into, you know, the depths of the ocean. And that's where, you know, things happen. You know, but I honestly feel like it's missing something. Like it's missing like maybe one light iridescent shade. I feel like it's missing something. I think it's a beautiful palette. I love the way that it's designed. I love that it's like super hefty packaging. I love that it comes with a mirror. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Like I love the way that they designed this. I love the color story to it, but I really feel like I said, it's just missing a little bit of something because it's very grungy, and I wish it had like at least some iridescent multi-chrome in there or something like that. And it's definitely missing something. So honestly, pairing these two together, it's going to make beautiful eyeshadow looks. Using it on its own, it's going to make really beautiful eyeshadow looks. I do love grungy eyeshadow looks in general, but I do like diffusing, you know, the brow bone with something like a lighter color. And again, like I said, I feel like that's just a little bit, it's missing in this palette. So I will definitely always need like some sort of eyeshadow color to diffuse into the brow bone. And I will always need like, you know, if I want to do like a brow bone highlight, I'm always going to need like another eyeshadow palette, or even like just using my face highlight to do it. Or like, you know, just using a little 5-pan from Natasha Denona. I'm going to need something like that. So final thoughts on this eyeshadow palette. Is it the best of 2025? Is it the best of Blend Bunny? I think the quality is there. The quality is great. It does blend out really nicely. The purple shades were absolutely beautiful. The green shades were absolutely stunning as well. Blend Bunny just has like a really beautiful formula, very blendable. I would honestly compare it to like a Natasha Denona formula. It's just so good. But is it the best of 2025? Is it the best Blend Bunny palette? I've tried a couple of Blend Bunny palettes. I loved their Sugar and Grunge palette. I love the Allure palette. I think this is a good addition to my collection. I think it's the way that they've upgraded the packaging, honestly, 100% like spot on. Like they did an amazing job with it. I think it is a really beautiful palette, and I can't wait to see like what Blend Bunny does coming, you know, into the rest of 2025. I think it is a really great palette, and I'm excited to see what they do. Thanks guys so much for watching and staying tuned to the end. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel so you can see more from me. And if you want to see more eyeshadow looks with the Beauty Below palette, leave me a comment down below, and I hope I get to see you in my next video. Bye!